As someone who's been on Steam for like, I'd say around 8 years, I've seen some pretty cool in little tiny little indie games that are under $10 that I actually really enjoyed. Only Up being one of them, among other ones. Just those tiny little games that you get together with your buddies and just really have a good time. And it's kind of almost like a one and done. Maybe you might play it like a couple more times with your buddy, but overall, sometimes those tiny little games are where it's at when it comes to gaming. There's a tiny little game that's out right now causing a bit of a stir as per Steam's refund policy. It's called Paddle Paddle Paddle. It's by a small developer who is under a bit of a fire right now. He's kind of mad that people are finishing his game under 2 hours and refunding it. And it's causing a bit of a debate online within the X community. It looks like a good game, man. Like I love tiny little indie developers like this that um create these great like little gaming memories with your homies, even if it's just for a few playthroughs. It's a couple bucks here and there for a tiny little experience, which I don't even mind doing. And it supports the small development community, right? This looks really fun. Like you're just it's just you and your buddy online, and you're trying to make it through um these little puzzles. Yeah, I mean, like it kind of reminds me of Only Up, but like you're like a paddle boat, which is a really cool concept. This game, it's only right now on the Steam store. It's only $3.89. So normally 6.49. So he's saying this should not be possible, Steam. It would be cool if you could finally do something about the refund policy. Got dozens of reviews, and that 25% refund rate through the reviews are 90% positive. Or that's over 55,000 refunds on this guy's game. Um, so it looks like this person, he's blurred out their name, but great game, finished within an hour and 40 minutes, and then the person refunded. Um, that I mean, personally, in my opinion, this is kind of ruthless. I'm not gonna lie. Like we looked over, the game was $3.89. If you need to be refunding that amount of money, even 6.49 after a playthrough, it's kind of sad to see, especially for like tiny little creators like this guy. This guy, it looks like he's trying his goddamn heart out creating like little indie games and shit. I went down in here, and I honestly was not trying to be mean to the kid. So essentially this is what I said down in the comments of his post. So essentially you want them to change their completely fair refund policy, all which I do completely think that their refund policy is fair. 2 hours game time within the maximum level of allowed game time that you can get before a refund can be triggered. Um, so completely fair refund policies to cater to your game that people are finishing in under 2 hours. If your game is lacking that much content replayability, people can complete it within a 2 hour refund window. Then don't you think that's a product flaw and not a problem on the side of the distribution platform? That Like I said, the game looks cool. The game looks really fun, and it's very unfortunate to watch people go down the route of like refunding that tiny little bit of amount of money to this like smaller, developer. But I also do think that it's seemingly looks like it's like almost like a victimization kind of thing. Like, yes, you've created a indie game that people will enjoy. I would enjoy it myself. I wouldn't see myself being as evil to refund it within like a 2 hour time frame, or even try to beat it within a 2 hour time frame just to refund it. That's absolutely ruthless. But I do think that he's trying to get the platform to cater to his specific situation when we already have a completely fair refund policy. The thing that I think that might help the situation, if games, there should be an option within the upload procedure of getting your game on the platform. I think a great way to go about this would be to determine playtime and replayability of a game to be finished within that amount of time frame for it to like not be able to like be refunded. So like if the game has under 2 hours of playtime, you would specify that, and then the refund window would close down even further and give you a more fair refund window between the consumer and developer, right? So that would kind of create a gap of like fairness between the developer and the gamer. So, I mean that could be a route that I don't know Steam maybe goes upon. Their refund policy essentially, really, like I think it's great, honestly. Refunding it so that like I was saying earlier, like this is like ruthless behavior. This person right here is just ensuing in ruthless behavior. Refunding a cheap indie game like that you actually enjoyed just because you beat it in under 2 hours isn't a life hack. It's just evil. And people saying just make the game longer, which it essentially is kind of what I was saying. You're the exact reasons company like Ubisoft get away with pumping out empty, soulless, over 100-hour games designed to only waste your time. I don't really agree with that, but I do agree with him saying that it's ruthless. It's absolutely ruthless to like for you to like just refund a game after you've absolutely enjoyed it. I don't think I've ever done that in my whole life. Um, let's see what people are saying down here. Stop making slop that can be beaten in under 2 hours, and this won't happen. Okay, another ruthless person. Make your game longer than 2 hours is good practical advice. Not saying he shouldn't advocate for this obvious abuse to be fixed, but we need to deal with the world we have. Let's see what people are saying over on the actual post itself. Making your game at least 2 hours of playtime is a pretty good standard for Steam to set, aiming for 2.5 to 3 hours being better case. Some people are fast. Not saying people should refund a completed game, but if it costs money, there is an expectation of content breadth. It doesn't break the refund policy, and like it or not, people are having money just as much as you do. I've done this with many games. You shouldn't be able to complete in a mere 2 hours. If your game is that shallow and lacking that much content, you don't deserve a payout. This is a cultural problem. Not much Steam can do. It's frustrating to have to witness, but probably the best to think about it as illusionary purchases rather than losses. Those who are willing to refund like this would never have bought the game in the first place if they couldn't refund. It's true. What else? What else? What else? What else? The 2 hour refund window is there to protect people from bad and scam games. If you get caught up in it, then sorry, but that's not Steam's fault. It's the people that abuse the system. People that abuse the system you should blame. Maybe make a bit longer game next time, or add replayability or replay value. So I mean this person essentially is saying the same thing I've generally said. When you're making a game, man, like you can't just put out some quick slop that people are gonna finish in 2 hours and then blame the platform for getting your shit refunded. You know what I mean? It's just it's very it's very catery. Like you're just asking the platform to cater to your needs, which is not how it's set up or how it's intended to be to work. It sucks that people think that like they can just make the system cater to them and then they have them feel like they deserve that when in theory if you're like I said, if you're making a game and it's being refunded within that window, it's definitely probably a product flaw. Like I said, I would probably have a blast playing that game with a couple of homies. Um, and if he intends on adding more content to this game and he finds it's worth it, look, all exposure is good exposure, right? Even though the game's getting shit on, it looks like a fun game. And if homie actually pushes to, you know, keep adding content to the game and making the playtime extended past the refund window, he might be onto something here, you know what I mean? But if he's just going to release this game and it's just going to be a one and done, I'm just going to release this and just toss it aside and move on to the next development project. It's not looking too good for this game. Anyways, that's kind of all I want to talk about on this situation. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.